I ain't got no time to waste, man, I've been down for so long. It ain't nothing been the same since that day I lost my dog. Stay up on your pivot game, cause they profit off your fall. Talking to my higher self, I wanna be you after all. And I'm forever 22, because my spirit live on. I was down, but I got back, because my spirit too strong. Do this shit, no pen, no pad, why my lyrics so raw? And I was playing way too safe, I gotta get this shit my own.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Xavier Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Flagler, and I'm back with another episode for you guys. Today, I got a really good friend of mine, Xavier. He lives in my neighborhood. I pretty much kind of grew up with him, so I'll just have him introduce himself, and I'll ask you an icebreaker question after you go ahead.
So I'm looking at this camera?
No, you don't matter.
This one. All right, I'm Xavier. I go by Forever 22. I do music. I'm a student right now. I'm about to graduate, and then from there, I'm just trying to go all in with this music shit. Or sorry for cursing. I'm gonna try and go all in with music, and if I don't, then I'm probably gonna go to a 4-year. But yeah, that's about it.
All right. But what made you get into music?
That's a good question. So it's like, I think it was like the year before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was listening to everybody's songs, and there was this one artist. His name is Spiritual Tony. But he was like the only artist I could find who was like talking about stuff that I could really resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was good manifestation. It was good stuff to put in your subconscious and stuff. So I was like, we need more artists like this. So I started making stuff myself. I was like, it was just purely affirmations and stuff, like just positive affirmations in lyrics. But then it started being like, turned to something where it was just like, anytime I needed to vent, it was like it was always there. I just had to go on my phone, plug in my headphones, and just I could say whatever I want, and it was just like a journal.
Got you. No, that's lit for real. So, the true icebreaker question I got for you is, when you think of the word change, what's the first thought that comes to mind?
Evolution. Some animals like snakes represent evolution. And often they get a bad rap too. It's just like anytime somebody's dishonest or something, they just bring up snakes or something. But
yeah,
I think like they're a great symbol for transformation. So yeah, that's the first thing I say. I think of.
No, that's true. I can agree with that. When I think of change, I think of when it's like you said, transformation. Sometimes I be thinking like Transformers. They change from car to a robot, from robot to car or whatever. Pretty much just. You're not completely different, but there's, the physical has changed, or even, mental, and everybody goes through change, whether you like it or not. Change ain't always pretty. So that's really the first thought that kind of comes to mind when I think of change. So what about self-improvement? And what's kind of like your initial thoughts when you think of the word like self-improvement, or the word self-improvement?
First thing that come to mind, probably like the task that you have to do, that some people have to do, like for like very specific self-improvement. Like I think for the mind, body, soul, like that's one of the things that's like really emphasized in religion and spirituality. So I think that's like journaling, self-expression, like all that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's
working out.
Okay. Do you think self-improvement is something that everybody should look towards in doing, or is that more of like a awakening, like a spiritual awakening that kind of just happens, or should they aspire to self-improve?
Yeah, I think everybody should. I mean, some people is different. Like some people are forced to change, like people who witness some traumatic or something. It's like they have no choice for that to happen, but it's like it forces them out of a certain zone that they're in. Yeah. Like a snake, it's like shedding skin. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, because shedding skin is from what you do when you take a new step forward in a new journey or whatever. You got to shed that old stuff, become and new, and you're gonna be a stronger. Or you look at it like a butterfly. They go away for a few weeks, however long they stay in that cocoon. I don't know how long, but they come out looking better than they were before, and that change is what's needed to go towards your goals. So my question to you is like when you look at change, self-improvement, when it comes to the goals that you have, do you take that fully into account when you look towards your goals? Say I need to do this and this and that before I can get here, or is that something that kind of just
Yeah, definitely. I think like for me, I think I gotta be at a certain vibration and mentality to like really go achieve, like pursue something. Like I think with school, it's like I can do it, but with music, it's like it's totally different because I'm so obsessed with it. It never feels like work. Like school feels like work every time I'm sitting down, unless it's like a class I really enjoy or something. But with music, it's just like I don't have to be in a specific mind space to start doing it. Like I can be sad and I can do music. I can be happy and do music. Like it doesn't matter. So I think that's like going back to your original question. I think it's not a specific mindset that I have to be in, but it has to be like a specific like intensity to it. Like I can't go into doing music just like, all right, I feel like doing a song, I might BS or half-ass it. Like I don't like doing that.
Yeah. No.
It's like it just got to be a high intensity. Whatever the emotion is, you got to go all into it.
Got you. So what steps do you take when it comes to self-improvement? Like, what do you do? How much your like routine look like?
I don't even have a specific routine for it. It's just like certain spaces bring out the most creativity in me. Like when I'm in nature and stuff, and when I'm surrounded by other creative people that are like authentically themselves. Like that's what really, like when I would be with Jacob and CJ when we were recording videos, that's like a reset for me. It's like, okay, now I'm back on track of what I need to do. Like I need to go harder. Yeah.
I can agree. I personally, when it comes to me and self-improvement, it's something that I think on for a while. It's not something that I can just wake up or be in a moment. I'm like, oh snap. It's something I usually like kind of sit on for maybe, sometimes it can be a few weeks, sometimes it might be a few days. So I kind of sit like, something need to change, So I sit on it for a while, and then later on it kind of comes apparent like during a certain moment where I'm like, oh snap, this is what I was just thinking about. Let me go ahead and start doing that because I've procrastinated on it for too long. I don't know. I know a lot of other people probably can relate to procrastination and stuff they need, should have been done a long time ago. So do you ever feel like you kind of been sitting in one spot for a minute and you like, it's like it feels comfortable, but you kind of have like that nagging thought in the back of your head where like, no, something need to change, but you kind of don't quite know what it is. Like, so like, you've probably been in that moment. Like, how do you like get out of that comfort moment to take those steps forward?
I'm in it like, I wouldn't say comfort, but kind of, it's just like consistency, like where I'm at right now, I'm trying to be, I think it's the most consistent I've ever been with like promoting myself, but it still feels like things are stagnant, like my views are stagnant and stuff. I'm still getting love, but like right now it just feels like an intermediate before, or an intermission before I go to the level I really want to go to.
Okay, I see. All right, and honestly, all those questions just came off the dome. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can finally get into the questions I really have for you. So like, when it comes to, I guess, the idea of a new path, like how do you align that, I guess, with, I guess your self-improvement with aligning with that new, that new path that you want to go on? When you said, you was in school before you got into music, like what is it that, I guess came to you was like, what, I need to do this that align with this new goal, this new path that I want to go on pursuing music?
I think it's like my inspirations in not just music, but everywhere, like entertainment, martial arts. Like there's just so many people that I aspire to have their characteristics. Where it's like they did so much for me, I'm trying to do that for other people. Yeah. Cause like I don't know, it's some like a sole purpose where I feel like I need to be something for somebody else or for other people. So it's less about me getting fame and notoriety and stuff. It's more about like I want people to say they love my music and stuff and it helped them. So and there's people like that I've listened to and watched that really inspired me to be like pursue the way I pursue shit.
Yeah, I got you. So what's that feeling like when you say that, when somebody says that, your music, inspired me, or your music?
Bro, it's like, it's the best feeling in the world because everything is from scratch besides the beat. Like I don't write my lyrics down or anything. I punch in every song. My quality is not like Hollywood quality, So when I get compliments on it, especially when I know like it's a risk to be talking about the things I'm talking about, because not everybody, especially in Durham, like not a lot of people are gonna resonate with what I talk about in my songs. Like I don't really talk about things that I don't live. Like I'm not gonna talk about trapping or none of that. Like
Right.
I talk about seeing signs. I talk about spiritual growth. So when people resonate with that, and it's all over the country, all over the world, it's like it's the best feeling, bro. It's like that's who I do it for.
Yeah. I like that. So how does, I guess, this kind of a little off topic a little bit, you know, when you talk about spiritual growth, do you think that really like affects, you know, most of your life, you know, your kind of your everyday life?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's a limit to it, because we're doing a human experience. Yeah. We're in a human experience, so it's like it's only so far that you can go without, like, there's so much unanswered, you know, so it's hard to pursue all the way, but we got to realize that we're doing a human experience, so a lot of this has to be physical. Like I'm still going to have to make money, I'm still going to have to go out there and build relationships and stuff. So I try not to dive too deep into the spiritual path. I think that's where a lot of people get depressed.
I can see that. I see that. So, what about, I guess, your supportive group, like friends? Like, how would they? In what ways do your friends, like, you know, support, or family support, or even like challenge, like those aspirations that you have, you know, like for self-improvement if you go on this, you know, new journey?
Well, like I was saying earlier, well, first I want to shout out my parents, because they fund 90% of like my equipment, like everything.
Yeah.
My beats, like they fund 90% of that. But when I'm out with, I say the only people I'm really consistently talking to and like pursuing this with is with CJ and Jacob. So every time that we're out and like we're around the city and we're recording and people watching us and stuff, like that's just, I don't know, it's like it just heightens every single time, like the intensity of how hard I want to go with it.
Yeah. So they pretty much, the parents and friends like Jacob and CJ, they're pushing you. You know, you being around in that area, being around with them is pushing you to go even higher. And
it's healthy. Like it's never been a sense of like competition. Right. It's always just been motivation, because we all want to go up together.
Yeah, I understand. So you would say you really haven't been challenged in a way that makes you go harder, or like have you?
I mean, challenged. I guess being where we are, like we're in Durham.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not a lot of touristy places around here and stuff, and not a lot of artists like compared to LA or something, or New York. But I mean, there's dream chasers, but it's like finding the people who are really going all in on their stuff. I think there's not a lot of people here doing that.
Yeah. I don't know too many people that's in the industry, or trying to get, you know, not say trying to get in the industry, because we know how the industry is. The industry is it's cutthroat. So there's a lot of trials and, you know, tribulations that, you know, y'all go through, and I can imagine what it's like, you know, when you get that first song that blow up. Like, you know, I know you're waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'll be seeing your posts, and I see the haters in the comments. I'm like, they ain't doing nothing, but they feeling it. Like, you know, they really adding wood to the fire. You know, honestly, you know, they're making you blow up by engaging with you. So, you know, can you describe like what it's like going through trials and tribulations and like getting back on your grind?
I say the most difficult thing about doing it is just not seeing results sometimes. Like you can go months or years without seeing growth. Well, maybe on the outside looking in, it's a lot of growth, but like for me, it's not how I planned it, you know. But I think it's part of that has to do with me too. I think whoever the higher power is like telling me to focus in on this solely, because I've been having too much attention other places. So they're like, we want to know that you really want it. You got to start putting money into this instead of freaking 2K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I stopped buying stuff on 2K and stuff. I just been buying beats.
Yeah.
And now I think it's coming forth, like the success I wanted is slowly getting there. I'm seeing it going more and more as I get more focused.
Okay. I like that. So would you say that when you first, you know, stepped into the, you know, the music realm, that it was stepping out of that, your comfort zone, or was it more like you would kind of feel like you were stepping into it? Like, was it
Both.
kind of like uncharted territory, pretty much?
Yeah, before I started promoting it, and it was just for myself. Like I said, like it was just affirmations at first, so it was just for me. Because I used to be really self-conscious about stuff, but then my music helped me, so I started putting it out, promoting it when I feel like I kind of solidified my sound, and like a lot changed. Like I got out of my comfort zone a lot more. Like music has helped me in every aspect of my life. Like just being willing to go out. You could ask Jacob, bro, our first music video, I was like looking around to see what everybody was thinking. If we go out right now, I swear to God, like it could be any time of the day, any place. Like I'll be focused on the video.
Yeah. Nah, I can completely agree when it comes to looking around, when people looking at you while you doing your thing. I actually, it's been many times, actually about twice, where I bought a camera, had a gimbal, been out there, and people kind of looking at you like, what you doing with a camera? And I'm like, obviously I ain't recording them, but it's just kind of fun. Once I actually walked into Publix and they kicked us out of Publix. You can't be filming in here. But at that time, like, honestly, we're not filming nothing. We were just holding the camera, and it kind of looks like these folk kind of in my, not necessarily in my business, but it feels kind of weird. Like I'm kind of getting judged.
Yeah.
But then I kind of take a step back. You know what, bro? This is what I'm doing. I chose to do this. I chose to be out here in public doing my thing. I'm not gonna let their energy that they're giving up by looking or whatever, mess up what I got going on.
Yeah. And it's like, I could see from their point of view, because a lot of people do just outlandish stuff on social media for some attention. Like that dude, have you seen that dude in Walmart who like pours the jug of milk over his head? He's bald. Like that type of stuff. I think they think that a lot of our generation is on that type of timing, but and the other people who judge, I think, is projection, because they know that they can't go out there and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's those two options. Like either they're gonna do some crazy clout grabbing stuff, or they're just mad that they can't do what we do.
No, I completely understand. So how does it feel like, I guess I don't want to say not being like a typical, folk at our age. Usually folk, when you get out of high school, go to college or, get a job. So how does it feel, not being, one of those? Like you are, in school, but it's not like you putting 100% of the energy into it because, you want to get something out of it. But you also going on your own path while also getting that associate's degree. So how does that feel?
Like extremely privileged, because it's like I'm not funding 90% of this. My parents are funding, so I have to recognize that. So at the same time, I'm doing school. I have to maintain a certain average for myself to be like, okay, I'm putting in enough work, because they're paying for me. It's different if I'm paying, right? It's like I'm doing this for them.
I like that.
But I do the music for me and other people.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the college just feels like a backup plan, which I don't, in my life, I don't really like have backup plans for stuff. Like when I was playing basketball in high school, I didn't focus much on school, and I'm seeing it now in college, because I'm falling behind in spaces where people already know that stuff, but I wasn't paying attention because I was like, I'm gonna be a professional player.
Right.
Yeah. So now it's like everything's coming back to me, so I try not to let things slip. And I'm trying to stay focused in school, but also maintain like that aggression when it comes to pursuing music.
Got you. Yeah, so I know, and self-improvement, honestly, itself is it's a very broad, broad idea, broad, thought, I guess. I don't know the word to use, but, there's a lot that, goes into it, and one thing is like self-reflection. So like, how often do you, self-reflect?
Every time I pick up a mic. But really self-reflection, because like if we're talking about vulnerability, I say every day. It may not be super deep,
but it's
I talk to myself, like when I'm outside, I'll talk to myself and like refresh with what I'm doing and like set myself straight on some topics.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think self-reflection for, not saying like, let's say like judging others or whatever, but, personally, I think self-reflection is something that's needed, when it comes to you moving through everyday life. I'm not saying you have to self-reflect every single day on the hour, but it's like at night, maybe, you know, once a week, twice a week, you gotta think about, you know, who are you? You know what I mean? What have you done? What are you doing? You know, necessarily, you know, is there anything that you need to tweak or change, or, you know what I mean, or do you need to stay consistent with this thing? Like, so do you agree that self-reflection is something that most people should do if, you know, if they have a certain goal in mind, even if that's necessarily that it has to be for their goal, but it's just everyday life being, you know, a good person?
I think regardless of what you're trying to achieve, like, you have an obligation to reflect on yourself so you can show it better for everybody else. Like, there's grown adults and I'm like, there's no way you're this
Immature.
Not even immature, it's just like not conscious enough about what you're doing. And you got to be like, when I started self-reflecting heavily, it also taught me, like, I got to stop judging people so much, because you never know. That's what, like, with that comment I just made, like, maybe they're in their head 100% about it and I'm just thinking they're not.
Yeah, because you're looking outside in, you really don't know.
Yeah, so the more you know yourself, the more you get to know everybody else. It's like, you got to be lenient with some people, unless it's rapists or child lovers or stuff like that. That's the stuff where it's like, I don't care who you are, you're getting judged.
yeah, for sure. You ain't got no room, no leniency on that one, because
nah.
you know, what were you doing? But yeah, no, I can completely agree. You know, honestly, me recently in the last few months, you know, I'm talking to my homeboy Sid, and for the last, you know, few months I've been going through some things where I'm like, you know what, man, like, I've really truly, like, self-reflected a lot more than I have, like, period, because I, you know, some things happen. I think, you know, man, like, what's their problem? You know, not necessarily what did I do. I always think, you know, what did they do? Why do I have a problem with it? But recently I started to think, well, shoot, maybe I was the problem. You know, maybe let me look at this a different way. Let me try to really analyze, you know, what happened. Does it even make sense? You know, what they're saying. What is their point that they're saying? You know what I mean? You know, when it comes to, I guess, in a certain conflict, I start to look back on my past and see that, was I right back then? Was I wrong?
And that's mature. That's what everybody needs to do.
Yeah.
Some people argue just to hear themselves. It's like they have no point or no goal in hearing the other person.
Exactly.
It's just like, I'm gonna get what I gotta say out because I love hearing myself.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when it comes to, you know, either like a conflict like that, knowing, you know, we starting to know who you are is, you know, I think help better that conversation going in a productive way. Because honestly, like, you know, like I said, the last few months, I did so much self-reflecting. I'm like, dang, bro, like, who was I? Like, how did somebody even like me back then? Like,
Nice.
you know, how did I even have friends? How did I operate? And I started looking at myself and, like, you know, at that time, I was putting myself down because I felt like mad guilty for, you know, the pain that I caused others, thinking I was in the right. And I'm looking back and I'm like, nah, bro, I wasn't in the right. I was, you know, straight in the wrong. And I think now I'm a much better off person now than, you know, the fact that I need to realize that there was a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I realized that there's a problem, and I was like, you know, how am I gonna fix it? You know, what steps do I need to take to self-improve? You know, after my self-reflection, and then from there, how do I keep it going? You know, because there's gonna be moments where those, you know, impulses of back then, those ideas that you had back then, gonna probably come up, and you can be like, oh, okay, now we about to resort back to what you used to do. But, you know what I mean? So, like, you know,
it's easy to do that too.
It's easy to do that. It's like, you know, like most people think of like a relapse. You know, you're on drugs or whatever. You finally get over it, and something come up that, you know, you get emotional or whatever, and you think you can just run back to it, which that's the impulse. You know what I mean?
give the highest praise to the people who can, like, have enough discipline to fight their urges and that are addicts, like, regardless what it is.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get like kind of real, not to say too personal on this point, but like, honestly, like lately, I've been, you know, it's not necessarily added to like drugs or nothing, but, you know, I'm addicted to something. And lately I've been, you know, really thinking about it. And I'm like, every time I get, you know, emotional in a certain, you know, sense, I kind of run to that thing. And I'm like, man, why is it that? You know what I mean? I feel like this is controlling me in some sense. And I was like, nah, like, I don't like that. You know, I feel like it's hurting my spirit.
Yeah.
You know, my very being. You know, even it physical as well. And I was like, nah, like, something got to change. So now when I'm feeling that same type of way, now the thought definitely comes up in my head. The impulse is just there. It's going to be there. But now it's, nah, let me drink some water. Let me watch this movie. Let me stay in the house. Let me not go nowhere. Let me make sure I'm chilling. because, I feel more empowered myself, because now I have more control over, certain situations, and I have control over those impulses. And I know some people out there that can't agree to, having that time where, something happens and they immediately just boom. Or
it's a void. I mean, people are trying to fill a void, and then they do it and it feels good for that split second. And then after it's a bigger void.
Yeah, it's like that temporary pleasure pretty much, and we're starting to realize that temporary pleasure, it ain't enough. It's not going to, in the long run, it's really going to beat you down. Especially in times as you done do it. Yeah. It's really tearing you down. It's hurting your spirit. So, looking for that. I'm not saying like the remedy, but like something to replace it. You know what I mean? If you out doing whatever, what can you do? You meditate. You need to go and spend some time. Take a drive. Clear your head. Which honestly, taking a drive and clearing your head is top tier. It's a top tier. We'll get and then with the weather getting warmer, bro. Sunroof down. Dark. Yeah.
I just hop on my bike. I can't think about driving without thinking about like paying for gas and stuff. So the whole time I'm driving, I'm like, damn, I'm just wasting gas. I'm not even going nowhere. So I just hop on my bike.
Bro, I mean that's the thought too. But like at the same time, it's like, man, hey, bro, this gas about to be wasted. But I gotta clear. Which it would be nice to have a bike though, no doubt. But I mean, honestly, I've at the airport they got a park where you can watch the planes when you lift off or whatever. I've been there a few times where I was like, you know what, bro, like I just need to be outside, outdoors. So I'll go and watch the planes take off or whatever. I mean, it's cool looking at the planes land and take off. But
I'd be going to rich neighborhoods and just be like, it's kind of like visual manifestation.
What, man? Rich neighborhoods? I don't know.
Don't get the weird, bro. It's kind of weird. I don't stare in front of the house just like sitting there. But I ride around and stuff. I'd be like, damn, this is where I want to be for real.
Oh, that's a good thing as well. So, my question, which is not necessarily off topic, but when it comes to when you, I guess, up at night, say you up at night like 11 o'clock, and you're thinking, as in like your dreams, aspirations of where you want to be. What are the kind of like the general thoughts that go through your mind when you're thinking of where you want to be and say let's say 10 to 15 years? Like what's the general thought? Not saying like, oh, I want to have this house and this car and da. But like what's the general the person you want to be, the kind of life you want to live.
That's the one thing that's been like super hard for me, just finding that specific place where I want to get to. Like when I think about 5 years in the future, I can't picture a lot. I just know I want to be 5 years like way better than I am now.
Yeah.
And some people got their whole thing planned out. I've never had it all planned out. So I'm hoping that like whatever signs I get shown, that I'm gonna go through with that and hope for the best. But I want to be like as successful as I can. I want to move out of my parents' house. I want to pay off their bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Have them not worry about, because she should not be working like, I don't think anybody should be working past 60, bro. Like that's insane.
Yeah, very insane. Which I can agree. My parents, now, even my mom, she works and pretty much almost every day, and I'm like, I come home and I see her sitting, like she works at home, but it's still like you sitting down in a chair for hours. Maybe you get up a few times, but I'm like, you've already done all your work. You know what I mean? Like you about to hit 50 now.
Yeah.
Like you done. Like stop.
That's the feeling. It's like I gotta retire you.
Yeah, I gotta retire.
It's less about me now. It's just I don't want to see her working until she passed my dad too. It's like, no, I want you out there now.
Yeah.
But everything is getting higher now. It's like, bro, I can't even survive on my own.
Bro, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, because I feel like sometimes I walk in there and I feel like I haven't improved myself enough to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I come in and I see them working and still, 50 years old, they're still working. I'm like, yo, am I doing something wrong? You know what I mean? And I look at them like, obviously everything happens for a reason, but I kind of look at it that way. And I don't know. I know there's probably others that think the same way, but I'm like, dang, I'm still living with my parents. I'm 20 years old. You know what I mean?
I don't like when people say everything happens for a reason.
But honestly, I hated it at one point too, but I kind of started to realize that some things it falls into place, and it's gonna work out how it's supposed to work out. Yeah. And I know we both believe in a higher power, and God is my higher power. I believe that He got a plan, and it's gonna work out how he wanted to work out. So if I would drop this mug in the water and something happened or whatever, it happened for a reason. No, I don't know what it is yet, but later on it's gonna fall into place.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do hope so.
Not just personally, but like throughout the world too. Like I can't find, if God can explain to me why like innocent people getting killed and stuff, then I'll be like, okay, that happens for a reason. But until then, it's like I'm not about to put all my glory in you and you still haven't showed me any type of answers of why certain stuff happens to people.
Yeah, no, that's real. And that's a a lot of like a deeper conversation. But I know one thing happened, which the weirdest thing ever. I'm up, I'm kind of rushing a little bit. It's like 6 a.m. and I'm trying to start my car, and I'm like, bro, first of all, I'm mashing the key to open the car. The car don't open. So I'm like, I can put the key in there, turn it, and then I realized like none of my lights in the car come on. So I'm like, all right, it was, it's a stick, clutch. Well, hit the clutch. I'm trying to turn that thing. It don't make no noise. No lights come on. No like noise happens whatsoever. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like my battery dead? Like, nah, bro, I just got this battery, a year ago. Like, I'm good. So I'm like, all right, you know what? It's probably because it's too cold. We're gonna figure it out. Go in the house, bro. Go in the house. My dad, I'm like, yo, my car not starting. Like, what's going on? Like, I might need to use one of your cars. Like, so we figuring out. Open my hood. I check everything. I'm like, yo, nothing look wrong. We good. So then I go back in the house, pull my dad, the car out or whatever. Turn the car on. It's, and then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, let me try my car one more time. Put it in there. Light come on. Car starts. I'm like, all right. So what was the problem? So I started looking at it. I'm like, so why? Now I just got delayed maybe 15 minutes, but nothing was necessarily wrong with my car. Like what happened? So my mom was honestly, that had to be something. God delayed me for some reason. It's I don't know what it was. Up to this day I'm still kind of confused because it ended up happening again one time. It didn't take that long. It just happened like once or whatever. But I was like, what is it that maybe if I would have drove, I would have gotten in an accident. He was protecting me for something. So like when you think of like everything happens for a reason, I'm like, there was nothing wrong with my car. Still is like there's just nothing wrong. So like how in the world does my car not start? So it kind of seems kind of weird when you think of it like that, honestly. And it's a lot of things that people in spiritual wise where they look at like angel numbers and all that, but that's a whole different story, I guess. Yeah. But like myself, I've when it comes to like vision and visualizing like, who I want to be, let's say the next 5 years, because you did say 5. My general idea as to who I want to be is like you said, I want to be moved in a positive direction, and I don't want to be the same. I can't go 5 years and be the same person I was 5 years ago. Like that means you won't move and you pretty much you failed. One of my cool friends named Rick, he always said, bro, if you're not moving, you're not working, then what are you doing? I was like, you got a good point. Like why are you trying to slow down? Why are you having too much fun when you could be working? If you ain't working, what you're doing? Obviously, there's a little more technicalities to that because I'm like, sometimes you retire, you didn't put all the work in your life, and you can chill. But like as of now, I really got no reason to be, necessarily chilling. I want to make sure that in 5 years,
able-bodied,
able-bodied, able-mind. Like I need to be moving forward in the right direction. Because honestly, 5 years, I would love to be a millionaire. Like, that would be amazing. That would, but
then you could finally afford to pay rent.
Facts. Rent, boy, one bedroom apartment, you paying $1,100. Like, come on.
Studio apartment for a millionaire.
Studio apartment, especially in New York City. But like, I look at it, and I've really came down to like a general idea. I'm gonna close out in a second to where, in 5 years, or I would love to be able to make enough to where my lifestyle now doesn't necessarily change. I'm able to, buy my J's, take somebody out here and there, take myself out, spend my money on whatever, not whatever, because I ain't balling like that, but more like, I don't want my lifestyle to have to be worse off, and I don't want it to be buying Bugattis in 5 years because that's a drastic change. But I want to be better off and want to be able to make money where I'm not struggling.
I want to, like Mike has said, he said he would just want to get rich so he can overpay people. And I was like, that's like really the goal. Like if I have somebody do my hair and stuff, I want to be able to pay them double.
Tip them like, hey, yo, here, 200. 200 is crazy.
Best feeling, bro. No, 200. Well, it depends on the style and shit. But.
Yeah. Because people charge like 100 for a cut nowadays.
No, I'm not doing that, bro. I'll self cut before I do that. Fucked up.
Bro, yeah, no, I couldn't, brother. I got mad when the cuss for $20. Now every time I'm
20 not bad, bro.
20's not bad now, but
100,
like,
bro, like
it used to be $8 when I was younger.
$8. We get supercuts.
No, that's when my barber in the hood. You know, you go to barber in the hood. And
8 is a weird. 8's a weird number, though.
Yeah, no. Actually, I gotta get cut today because I'm looking kind of rough. But yeah, but nah, man. I do got one more question. So, do you have like any advice, you know, for those maybe trying to, look at themselves and improve themselves? I guess spiritually, mentally, physically, or it's like, yeah. Do you have like any advice for them trying to look inward maybe?
To look inward?
Yeah, look inward and trying to improve themselves. Like what's everything's like work out for you necessarily, but what is it that you think you can give advice to them about it?
Figure out everything that is your fault, and then don't take things as coincidences. That's it. Figure out everything that's your fault. Change that. Like there's this girl from Glee. Her name is Rachel. People don't like her very much, but she's like, you look at her and you know she's gonna be a star. Like people don't like her because she's so assertive and kind of selfish, but everybody who advocated for her was like, you can't see her any other way. So change your image and your energy to like, there's no way you're gonna fail.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. You know, I definitely learned something. I hope the audience did too. Is there anything else you want to say to them, or be good? All right, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay tuned for the next one. Peace.